Good afternoon. My name is Justin Mann. I'm the managing partner for Stonelink Property Management. And today's video, I want to give you a quick update on the state of the lead laws, the deadlines that are fast approaching. We haven't touched on this subject in a couple of months since we had produced quite a bit of content earlier in the year on it. But as September 1 and October 1 are right around the corner, we thought it was an opportune time to bring this or put this back on everybody's radar so that they can be aware of these deadlines and that they are approaching. So we're going to cover the two deadlines, September 1, October 1, the process as far as getting your lead conformance certificate, the fines and enforcement that is taking place right now as we sit here, and what you can do to avoid any penalties, fines, or any sort of legal action against you in the future. So first thing we got to talk about is lead safe versus lead free. Rhode Island, unlike our neighbor Massachusetts, is actually a lead safe state, not a lead free. The key difference is in a lead safe state like Rhode Island, they allow for encapsulation, not full removal. So that is, if you have lead paint, you can encapsulate that lead paint with obviously non-toxic, safe, non-lead paint, and thereby obtain a lead conformance certificate, provided you meet other requirements and standards and pass the tests. In Massachusetts, they require you to be lead-free, which is a much more invasive process. It is a permanent process, but in Rhode Island, we can go for lead-safe. And again, a quick reminder, this applies to all properties built prior to 1978. So that being said, we want to talk about these two deadlines that are coming up. September 1 is the first deadline, and the rental registry is what's going to be coming online as of September 1. According to our latest information, the funding for the rental registry database has been approved. It is funded. The Department of Health is going to be administering that. And as of September 1, if you're a real estate investment with residential real estate investment property in the state of Rhode Island, you're going to need to register your properties in this rental registry database. And if you use a property management company, they too are going to need to register for your properties, and that is a two-step process. So the September 1 deadline is right around the corner. Again, the funding for the database has been obtained. The Department of Health, as we understand, is going to be administering it, and you need to be aware of that. Now, why? What are the consequences? Failure to register your property, meeting the deadline, which starts September 1 and goes through the end of September, so that's your window of opportunity. If you fail to do this, the fines are substantial. It's $50 per month per unit, so that can add up pretty quick. The second deadline that you want to be aware of is October 1, and that is when you're going to need to make sure that all of your units and properties have a valid lead conformance certificate. And that is a whole separate process we're going to be talking about in a little bit. But if you fail to have your lead conformance certificates for your units, for your properties by October 1st, the consequences are also severe. They can administer a $125 per unit per month fine on your rental property. So combined, that can be $175 per unit per month after October 1st, in a cumulative effect between the rental registry and the lead conformance deadlines that are looming right around the corner. So these things are here. They are coming as far as the deadlines are concerned, and you need to take action today. The enforcement of this has already started. The legislature passed last year the powers to the municipalities so the cities can enforce this, and we're already seeing this. Oftentimes now what's happening across many of the cities throughout the state of Rhode Island, the minimum housing enforcement officers are actually using any violation as a means to check whether or not a property has lead conformance certificates. So what does that look like? By example, if, for instance, a minimum housing inspector passes by your property and sees that your grass is too high or you have a trash violation, when you get that love letter in the mail saying you have a violation, they're also stamping that letter requesting copies of your valid lead conformance certificate. So they're using any violation as a means to request confirmation that you have lead conformance certificates. And that isn't waiting until October 1. That's starting right now. So if you have not been working against getting your lead conformance certificate, thinking the deadline was going to get pushed or it wasn't going to be enforced or whatever your strategy was, you need to recalibrate, you need to readjust. They are already enforcing this now at the municipality level, and after October 1, there will be fines and penalties that you're going to be dealing with. So, the urgency is also not driven just by the deadlines. There is a limited number of lead inspection companies that are certified in the state of Rhode Island to even administer the tests, get you the lab results, and ultimately administer the lead conformance certificate, pass or fail. In fact, I think at last count, there was about 35 certified lead inspectors in the entire state, and there was still a couple 100,000 units that had not actually achieved conformance. So you have a very limited number of resources matched up against a huge demand. And with this deadline looming, the issue is only going to bottleneck and get that much worse. So if you haven't taken action, you need to do so now. Don't wait. You will find yourself in a very, very difficult situation. That, coupled with the fact that there is a scarcity of qualified labor we're finding out there in the marketplace, folks that actually know how to do this, because you do want to have a process. It is an inspection, it is remediation, it is a cleaning, and then it is actually the lead testing. And there is a valid process you should follow. We have one ourselves. To date, we ourselves have obtained almost 900 lead conformance certificates for our clients. So we have a tried and true process. We know how to do this, and you should too. Doing this by the seat of your pants or just winging it can be very costly, because if your unit fails to pass the inspection, you have to pay to have it re-inspected, and you have to pay to have that test done. And that test can be anywhere from $125 to $150 every time they do it. So you want to make sure that you have a process that works. You don't want to be paying to have your property retested again and again and again. So please take immediate action if you haven't already done so. Again, the rental registry deadline is coming September 1. The lead conformance certificate deadline is coming October 1. Those are right around the corner. In conclusion, if you haven't taken action, we encourage you strongly to do so now. Again, the database has been funded. The deadlines are looming. Cities have already started taking action to enforce this, utilizing any violation process to do so. And so you've been put on notice. You want to make sure that you're not sitting on your laurels. You want to make sure that you're taking action now. Again, we are a lead safe state, not a lead free state. That is encapsulation versus the complete removal of lead from the property. Those are very different actions. If you have questions about this, if you don't have confidence in a process, the people, or the procedure, please feel free to reach out to our team. We'll be happy to answer any questions you have. We can give you some guidance on what we're doing to take action to make sure that our clients are getting their lead conformance certificates, and we'll make sure to point you in the right direction. And we'd be happy to answer any questions you have. If you haven't already watched it, please watch the part 1 and part 2 videos that we put out earlier in the year. The first was with Sharon Barr. She has one of the lead inspection companies. Excellent resource, really knows what she's talking about, as does Michael Crane, who is the second video that we put together, which was covering the laws. Michael Crane is a landlord resident attorney here in the state of Rhode Island, knows the laws, knows what you need to know so that you can stay out of legal trouble. And if you want to check those videos out, you can check out our channel, Inside Stonelink. It's on YouTube. You can also link to it from the blogs that we have on our website, www.stonelinkpm.com. Again, thanks for watching. If you have questions, please reach out to us. We'd be happy to help.